Hello everyone. I'm very delighted to share some Buddhist teachings, and today mainly I would like to talk about Four Noble Truths. Which one is when Buddha Shakyamuni appear in this world, and then once he got enlightenment, after that, within 7 weeks he didn't teach the Dharma, and the Brahma and the two kings requires him to join the Dharma will. So begging him, Lord, why he didn't talk the Dharma? Because Dharma is very, very profound. So there are no many people could understand, which he got the realization. That's why one thing also valuable. So if somebody asks you right where you taught, that's not much valuable. So within 7 weeks he didn't talk. And after that, he accept the Brahmas what their interest requires to turn the Dharma will. Then from his meditator, or maybe his emanations, watching which person can suitable for the first teaching, can which student for suitable when he watch. They have one old student, but when he's going to teach, he's suitable by his passed away. And secondly, then he was taught the first 5 disciples. They are when he was meditating, they're together. So then he thought that's the benefit for the actual benefit for everybody, but most they can understand what he explained, what he taught. So then he came to Varanasi. So turn the Four Noble Truths. But anyway, before we engage in the listening of the Buddha Dharma, it is important that we begin by first generating bodhicitta as a Mahayana practitioner. The most important part of Mahayana practice in generating bodhicitta. To generate bodhicitta means to benefit all sentient beings through the listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Buddha's teachings. We step to attain enlightenment so as to benefit sentient beings who are wandering in samsara endlessly from the birth to death, in order to uproot their suffering, eliminate their cause of suffering, and bring them to omination Buddhahood. Why I'm saying all this here today is because our motivation is very important, not just in the Mahayana tradition, but in the Theravada tradition as well. It doesn't matter which school, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, or practice you do. That is most important and fundamental is the motivation one holds. If you miss or lack having such qualified motivation, you would not achieve much benefit regardless of how extensive the Dharma activities you do. So, in a sense, benefit has to do very much with your own genuine motivation. Genuine motivation here means that your motivation is never mixed with any hope and expectation or ritual. Genuine motivation means that you are doing Dharma practice bodily, verbally, or mentally, or all for the sake of benefiting all sentient beings. You need to adopt genuine motivation. If you begin your practice from there, be it Theravada, Mahayana, or Vajrayana, your practice would be beneficial. I strongly believe that each one of us here regard ourselves as Buddhist practitioners, and we expect changes from practicing. We need changes in a sense that the change through the Dharma practice. One has to judge oneself. Does practice change one's mental attitude? Does practice benefit one? That is the serious judgment one has to make in the practice of Buddhism. If you lack such wisdom of judging yourself to see the truth of the changes in your life or your mental attitude, then simply engaging in any Dharma practice and focusing on the direction of the practice is not that good. But once you have adopted to a genuine motivation and possess genuine knowledge, even the simple or mannered practice such as recitation or doing the prostration or any other aspect of Dharma practice would be multiplied because of the power of genuine compassion and of having genuine mental attitude. Therefore, what I am saying here in genuine motivation is very important because of the reason mentioned above. By the Buddha, after the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, the fourth noble truth in Varanasi in India, the second turning of the wheel of Dharma is Prajna Paramita, as I believe everybody knows, also in India. Buddha began all his teachings from the Fourth Noble Truth. He first began teachings on the Fourth Noble Truth. You need to be well trained in the practice of the Fourth Noble Truth before you can jump up one level to the practice of the Prajna Paramita or any other practice. This is the base of the important to understand Fourth Noble Truth. Therefore, he began his teachings from the Fourth Noble Truth, which refer to the practice of the renunciation That's why the first message of the Buddha, the completely awake one, was a renunciation to the practice of the Four Noble Truths. In his message, he taught us to be aware of the suffering and the cause of suffering. The first is to be aware of suffering. Being aware of suffering refers to practice of renunciation. So, be aware of suffering. This is a very simple matter to consider. So, for example, the suffering is like for myself, like sickness. And the second one is the cause of suffering is if I got the sick is from weather or from the food or from the work condition. So this is the second part that you're looking for. The result is suffering. I have to find out the cause from the 5 elements. So inside no harmony. From that I'm getting sick, or the food poison, or maybe water, or whatever. There are many ways to make us body unhappy, mental unhappy, hearing the bad news, calling somebody call you, if you're a happy moment, and maybe like enjoying moment, and somebody call you, hear the bad news, result of bad news, the cause from what? So this is the second part. And third part, cessation is how to leverage those suffering. You don't need suffering. You don't need sickness. And so you want to recover. So then the cessation is fully recover. So the fourth part is the medicine. Is like the part. So you have to take the medicine. Then there will be my problem. My sickness will fully recover. Then I'm no pain, so whatever. So this is the Four Noble Truths, the clue I'm giving you. Otherwise, one may simply think, why I am Buddhist? Why do I need to practice or go to the triple jump? Or do prostration or make lamb incense offering or chant and to prayers to the triple jump? Therefore, we need to have the right fundamental understanding. If you lack the fundamental understanding of the wisdom or knowledge, simply entering the triple jump or to go to temple to do prayer, prostration, and any other practice won't be of much help. You cannot focus or make further development in your practice. Therefore, the fundamental understanding of the Buddha's message is to be aware of suffering. We wander needlessly in samsara. This circle extends, never reaching out pain and the suffering, never rending out of pain and sufferings. The sufferings here refer to the physical suffering and pain, mental disturbance, as well as the limitless suffering of all kinds of pain that we experience in this circle extends. One wish to be leveraged, eliminating the pain and suffering that one finds so intolerable and unbearable. Releasing this, one began the search for the cause of suffering. So before I mentioned the sufferings like I'm sick, and the searching cause is sick from where, cause come from where. That's the search. Second, without eliminating or eliminating the cause of suffering, one may not be able to avoid or eliminate the pain and suffering itself. The cause that makes us engaged in the negative and disturbing emotion. The most powerful mental affliction that is the cause of suffering. So the first two messages are to be aware of suffering itself. Once you are aware the suffering is intolerable, you would sincerely wish to uproot or to be liberated from the suffering and pain from there. On the would then search for the cause of suffering, and then one has to be eliminate the cause of. Once you have eliminated the cause of suffering, can suffering itself be eliminated? So usually the suffering has three types of sufferings. So now we are samsara. In samsara, there's a natural of the suffering, so full of suffering, and the emotion of feeling has changeable. So first, suffering and suffering usually we call, so having a lower realms, hell realm is full of suffering. So call or any other actor, what you call, etc. The sufferings, they are countless. And then come up like second level is the hungry ghosts, and they have also cannot get the drinks, cannot get the fruits. So there are many type of suffering. So that's you need to read the book one by one, can understand or lesson from teachers. Then as we can see animals around in this world. We can see in the ocean they eat each other, on the maybe like forest also tigers eat the deers. Always suffering, always difficulty. Even some animals people handle, people keep their good life, but they don't understand the real meaning because they can't speak out. Some of them can listen, but cannot communicate like us human. There are a lot of sufferings, and for human being, give birth, and once give birth, get pain, getting old, and and then going to die. Many sufferings. They're all in our feeling, emotion. Some of them expecting when they're child, they want to be adult. They don't like child, and then when they're adult, maybe like their age is going to maybe like getting old, worried. All people are going to die, worried. So there are many ways to worry. Even we are having a food, some of like to eat the food, but still worried for getting fat. So are you looking for good health, or are you showing off for others' eyes? For other people might see my body, maybe good look, or if you are eating for good health or good energy. So I don't know. So there are many ways have sufferings. So they limit their suffering. So even the human man is give birth and sickness and getting old and dying. So we have whatever we wishes cannot achieve suffering. Whatever you like, the person or anything you want to spend with them, you cannot much time for that, and whatever you don't like automatically come, the obstacles. There are many ways to have a suffer, that means sufferings. And even that we have the suffering and suffering, the second is change suffering. First, you did maybe like heavy. For example, I buy a new car, and then when I bought moment, I'm so happy. Oh, I have got a new car. I can drive comfortable. I can travel wherever I can go, and then maybe I can show off whatever. After a while, so you start suffering. The change the happiness become suffering. My car going to people will steal or rob or hit somewhere or going to damage. So a lot of worries start. You cannot stay the happy always. Happy turns to pain. Happy turns to suffer. This is the example. Even these days people are using like Apple computer, Macintosh, iPhone. Once you get iPhone, you feel so happy. I got iPhone. I have iPhone. Now I can play the Apple things, whatever. But after a moment, the valuable things you have, you will worry start. Going to lose, going to drop, going to damage inside, or if I don't know how to use it well, something going wrong inside. So all the things, the suffering come up. That's what we say changeable. Happy moment, the short, the suffering moment is long. The happy change to suffering. So that's it. First the suffering, and suffering is low rums, and then upper rum also got it. Then the second is changing suffering. Happy moment, and later going to change to suffer, not always happy. So for example, some people are poor, and then they become a rich, and again they're first looking for wealthy. Once got it, also not enough. Then a lot of the suffer, whatever, not happy with the many things. So this is all changeful, and then sometimes we are gathering friends together. That moment happy, and then afterwards we have to suffer it. The time comes, we cannot stay together, we cannot spend forever. Then again the missing and sadness come up. You don't want to suffer it. So this is a change. Even you young teenagers, they can make a lot of friends, begin very happy, go together, chat together, and then the start jealousy, anger, all rising, fighting, and unhappy, all come up. The happy moment is changed to suffering. This is the second one. And third one is we call in Tibetan Khyapa Yuji Dungal. Whatever, anything, the nature of the suffering is on there, we don't feel it. Joyful, happier, inside there also sufferings there. So we don't see things. Once we got our body together, the suffering come, but we don't feel that suffering. So sometimes no suffering, sometimes not happy. That moment also, this suffering is there. We don't feel it. So for example, like some masters give the example. This suffering is like that. for us is like one hair goes in eyes, then right where our eyes is uncomfortable, try to take it out, ask people to, oh, can you check my eyes, something goes in, really painful, make me hurt, so please help, like that. And if that hair puts on our thumb, we don't feel it, anything. And there are great practitioners, high realization, they see even this suffering also, like the hair goes in like eyes. So make them try to release from the, renounce from this suffering. So this is also suffered, but we don't feel, for us, like the always having the, how to say, the thumb is not sensitive, just have kind of the suffering, we don't feel it. So like the hair in the thumb, something like that. So that's why Buddha say, so you have to recognize suffering is suffering, so you have to recognize. So that's why sometimes Buddha's teaching inside is that what the reality is, what happened. He said too, but people might think Buddha's teachings no build up before encouraging, so make them depressing, suffering, emptiness, impermanent, these things. But the essence of this is real. So what real is, he mentioned out to the giver, his disciple, to, if you do this, you will get typical. If you do that, it will make you happy. That's what he mentioned. So we don't feel the suffering is suffering. We feel suffering is happiness, joyful. That's why ending the happy as, how to say, drowning inside the suffering and the difficulty, like swimming pool. You don't know how to swim, you down inside the swim pool. Something like that. The happy moment is changing to suffering. And once you know suffering is suffering, then you try to escape from the suffering. Try to separate from the suffering. And you have to find a method how to. So if we give up the suffering, we have to escape from the suffering. We can. Why? Buddha Shakyamuni himself and his followers, many great masters, they all levered from that. So then, as I mentioned, so they have to renunciation from the samsara. So their thoughts, samsara is full of suffering. So they don't enjoy being in samsara. So that's why they're practicing Dharma. So how to renounce, or maybe how to escape from the, as I mentioned before, I must say, and the mind sick, the cause of sickness come from where? Maybe by stomach ache, from the food poison, or drinks, they come from where? I check, or maybe like I can realize, something like that. The cause of suffering, they're checking. They're understanding the cause of suffering, then they try to cut down the cause. So they have suffering causes we call karma and emotional bad thoughts. I don't know, my English not so good, hard to explain. The emotion has the two types, happy or maybe like unhappy, or so then you choose, or maybe like good thing or bad thing. Okay, so if you do good things, the result come happy, the temporary. Also they accumulate and slow also, and if you have good meditation, then really fill up. If you choose the bad things, the result comes suffering. This first emotion, from the emotion, then how to say, contemplating or accumulating karma. So that's what we call Leki Kunjung. So the karma starts from where? From the Tibetan called Nyamungba. From the Nyamungba, and the Nyamungba is negative emotion. Maybe I can say emotion, the anger, desire, proud, jealousy. From that, then the accumulating karma. So sometimes we call three poisons, and attachment, and the anger, ignorance. Why they are called poison? Poisons, if you put the food in the poison, make you sick. And this way, so these poisons destroy our self and then others. So anger destroy yourself, unhappy, and then destroy others. Sometimes even though human being, you're too strong, angry, you throw your things, you hit somewhere, just hurt yourself, and once you throw, later your anger is cool down, and you regret, destroy your things. Sometimes valuable things also. This is from inside, emotion of the poison. So they are not coming from outside. Individually, ourselves, anger, jealousy, or ignorance, and attachments. So we always, they are the best, they are the good, they are the super. So follow that, then we are accumulating in samsara, circling limitless. All the samsara, result of the pain, result of the suffering, cause is from the emotion, how to say, three poisons, and from that the accumulating karma. From that starts the root of that, and the root of that also goes to instinctively I, mine. From that starts everything. So once you keep up the root of this I or myself, this you need to meditate and you need to learn, and then the how look like was come from that you have to meditate check, then slowly you recognize, you understand, then your root of the suffering is cutting down. So this you need to practice. So anyway, these two are the rather simple points. First, be aware of the suffering, then find out the cause of the suffering and pain. Once you have located the cause, practice in the order to eliminate the cause of suffering. That is the part of the cessation. The second is the begin with one became aware of suffering, then the cause of suffering followed by accomplishing the succession and the path of the succession. When the individual engage in the Dharma practice and find the cause of suffering, if one wish to uproot suffering, one has to eliminate the cause of suffering itself. In order to eliminate this case of suffering, one has to do their practice, study. Contemplation or reflection and meditation. This there will help you to diminish or eliminate the cause of suffering. When we say we are doing this practice, that practice we need to consider what we are talking about when we say the practice. Practice does not simply means movement of the body performed during the prostration or circumambulation, etc. You may be doing physical movement related to the Dharma practice, but on the other hand, you may miss the wisdom thought, direct understanding. They are the separate. If you are unable to combine the wisdom or knowledge along with the physical movement of the Dharma practice, such as those performed while doing prostration, verbal recitation, or chanting prayers, what you are doing would not be considered Dharma practice. Some of the Vajrayana practice that we know of perform out of the habit. When someone mentions Dharma practice, you think of doing prostration or 100 millions, billions of mantra recitation. Other times, you may say, I'm doing visualization of the form genetic, visualization of the Thara, visualization of the Guru Rinpoche. But hardly do you ever consider the Four Noble Truths in your practice. You constantly think of doing high-level practice, Mahamudra, Mahati, or Tantric practice. For example, today you receive an introduction of some special instructions and you expect that you would be enlightened or experience an instant change by tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. That is why the teachings began rightly from the message that one need to be aware of suffering and the cause of suffering. If one doesn't wish to experience any suffering and pain, one need to eliminate the cause of suffering. In the order to do this, one has to engage in the Dharma practice to develop the wisdom of the study, wisdom of the contemplation, and wisdom of the meditation. once you achieve this, the accomplishment of Buddhahood, of the omniscient mind in there, the Four Noble Truths are connected and correspond with one another. They are very simple yet profound teaching that contain the rest of the teachings. So that's why whenever we do like prayer not prayer, like Vajrayana practice, some people might say beginning important is four foundation. Then the four foundation inside also first the saying about precious human body, and second is impermanent, it shows a suffering and things, and the third is the beginning I mentioned, the cause of karma comes from the where the emotion, actually they are related with the Four Noble Truths. So before as mentioned, the succession is how to get rid of or maybe get away from the suffering and cause of suffering. That's we need the we don't need the suffering. We don't need the difficulty. We're all looking for happiness, joyful. If you need joyful happiness, you need the method. For example, I'm a sick person. Then the sick from where I check. I want to recover. So then second, that if you want to recover fully, you need the medicine. The medicine is the path. So that path is you have to learn the practice. The path has maybe like sometimes they call 5 paths. So anyway, accumulating merit. So there are many ways. First, you go to refuge to enter the Buddhism. So you took a refuge vow, then from the master. Then you go from today, I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then you enter the Buddhism. And after that, once you enter this country, like got the refuge vow, then from body way, how to accumulate merit, and frustration, circumambulating, generosity. So what do you do? This accumulating from the body, and also from the speech. What do you do? Reciting mantras, reciting prayers, calling the guru, whatever. This all accumulating merit from the path, the 5 path in the first part. Then from the heart, faith and devotion to your spiritual or your guru, that's from your heart, accumulating the merit. Then second, then the if you're going well with that, then you have to get the teachings from your teacher, your guru, your lama. Then they will teach you oral instructions, how to meditate, how to contemplate. So then you can, second part, you can meditate. Then your meditating is getting better. So quite well, we call as Jolam, close to the third part. So some beginning, hard to resting your mind, hard to meditate. Slowly you meditate. You can easily resting your mind, and then you can from the auto transmission you understood. So what's the real meditation? What's the full meditation? Fat meditation? You understand? Then there's the full and fat meditation. Keep up. You follow the real meditation. Then you will reach the third part. Then there's essence of all phenomena. You can understand essence of your mind, understand, still purifying a lot of negative karmas. So you continue, you meditate. So Tibetan call Choklam, accumulating merit. Jolam is close to the number third. And Tonglam, then the number third. And that time the essence of the phenomena, essence of the natural mind, or not fully, but you can see understand these things. Number third part, still you need to meditate. You need to purify negative karmas, like karma or negative emotions. So whatever, with the post meditation, whatever you see, whatever you hear, so that moment they think everything is illusion, everything is a relative way, absolute way is nothing, emptiness, their mind realization. That's sort of their illusion. They don't like to spend illusion, no meaningless. For example, like the drama. So one person can do the mantra or anything. He can do the magic. So magic person himself knows this not exist real. But people who are watching his drama, we think, oh, this is a real dancer, real whatever he do the magic. Something like that. Once they live level like the third part, then whatever they see, what appearance is like the doing a magic, but the person like that, whatever is illusion. There's no real. There's no solid whatever. So if you continue meditate, then the negative karmas losing, and then the absolute meditation go well, and then you understanding the nature of the mind, nature of the phenomena. Then slowly, then go up, so you can reach the last part, the 5 part inside. Then you will reach Buddhahood from that. So you will really achieve the, what do you call, maybe like Hinayana, or there's a Arhat level. Then the Vajrayana, Mahayana level, there's different path, but different practice. So then you will reach the Buddhahood. So this may be like very high practice, maybe end of this quite difficult for beginners. So beginners have to know what's the Four Noble Truth, what's the Buddha's first teaching. So that will be helpful, beneficial. In the short, what I'm trying to tell you today is there are 3 categories. Maybe the first 2 I like to also share: renunciation, bodhicitta. These are the different aspects in the practice of the Buddhism. What I have just explained regarding the Four Noble Truth is constantly the practice of the renunciation. When we say renunciation, it does not mean that you give up or leave your family behind and run away. This doesn't mean renunciation. Renunciation, or to renounce, means you have truth understanding of samsara, of the pain and the cause of suffering in samsara deep in your heart. you need to be well prepared in a sense by having a systematic way of understanding in your practice. Once you have established such an understanding in your practice, then the rest of all practice will be very successful. It is for this reason that I have given you the two different aspects of Dharma practice. Number one, renunciation. The teaching always start with the renunciation. The Buddha himself and all the Buddhas, all Bodhisattvas, and all highly realized beings begin their practice from the starting point of renunciation. Without renunciation, I'm very sure none of them and none of you can establish any of the other practice. Renunciation is regarded as a practice of the Four Noble Truths. So Tibetan word for renunciation is Nge Chung. So Nge means samsara is full of suffering, nature of suffering, or maybe I can say. And then Chung means anyone doesn't like to stay in suffering. Even today, I like to go out, weather too hot, too humid. I don't want to stay inside the weather too hot. I don't like to go out. I want to escape from that weather, something like that. And then they want to look for the joyful. So they want to looking for where's the happiness. So then they follow the happiness. We always say Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, right? Sometimes this is done out of the habit. The minute you see the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, or when you see a Buddha image, you go, oh, this is Buddha. But when you wake away, you forget about Buddha. When you have an image of Buddha at home, you say, this is my Buddha. I bought in from Nepal. I bought from in the shop. It's very expensive. The other friends of the people who touch, don't touch it. If the quality is only so-so, you say, oh, this Buddha is not so good because it is not made of gold or diamond or silver. It is only made of stone or wood. You are always distinguishing between the qualities of the material of the Buddha image, considering the material characteristic instead of the deeper ultimate knowledge of the ultimate characteristic of the Buddha. So something is missing in your practice. One has to always remember the Buddha because of the Buddha himself is the message. The Buddha himself is the teaching. If you read the life story of the Buddha, you will understand that the Buddha himself is the instruction, the message, the teaching, the doctrine or whatever you call it, this deeper understanding of the knowledge, that is the Buddha. That's the short or brief instruction of the Four Noble Truths. So I'm not making. Actually, the Bodhicitta. Second, I'm going to talk about Bodhicitta is that they have the absolute and the relative two types. I'm not making a rule and a regulation here. The practice need to be processed through this step, as that I have told you at the beginning. The next step is the Bodhicitta. Relative or conventional Bodhicitta and the absolute or ultimate Bodhicitta. For the relative Bodhicitta, we talk about compassion, loving kindness, genuine intention, whatever you may call it. Ultimate Bodhicitta is the Parjana Paramita, teachings of the Buddha. Now I would like to elaborate a little bit about the refuge taking. We always say Namo Buddha or Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, but I don't know what you are thinking about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. When you say this, perhaps what I'm trying to say here is you need to knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. Even if you say Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, without knowledge of the Four Noble Truths, I don't think you will get the blessing from the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. One's mind has to be very well training on the knowledge of the Four Noble Truths before devotion and faith toward the Buddha Dharma can arise spontaneously. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Unlessly, this is the establishing your faith and devotion toward the Buddha Dharma are very contaminated and verificate. Once you have truth understanding of the Four Noble Truths, the devotion and chanting prayer of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha become very meaningful. It then become helpful to yourself and others. In order to benefit others and yourself, you need to begin your practice from the preferred point. This is why I'm saying this respectively, that one must not miss the correct point, the right point of the renunciation. This is the foundation, the point there you should begin your practice. If you miss this part, you will be unable to establish the next path on the bodhicitta, you will be unable to complete your entry practice. Completion of the practice need to be contact in stage, in a proper way and in the right order. Once you have trained well or accomplished the part on the renunciation, bodhicitta is the next practice. Therefore, I would like to request Dharma friends to consider the Four Noble Truths as very important practice. Don't think I don't need the Four Noble Truths because I'm a Vajrayana practitioner. The Four Noble Truths are the lower practice. I'm a highest, and you may even think I'm a highest than the others. If you are always just discriminating between the practice, wrongly distinguishing the low and high practice, or considering which is the needed or not needed in your practice, you will be unable to complete your practice. That is our Buddhist problem, particularly for Vajrayana practitioners. Therefore, the Four Noble Truths are very important. Without them, I'm very sure you cannot begin or establish any of the rest of the practice. So now I'm going to stop here. So thank you very much for your pay attention listening to me. And this I'm talking about Four Noble Truths, the merits I would like to dedicate to all sentient beings, especially there are many high lamas and stay long life, good health, and continuously training the Dharma wheel in this world. And then also I wish, and there are so many disasters coming in this world, tsunami, earthquake, politician problems. So whatever, they all get harmony, peace, and everybody listen this and put little bit in their heart like a seed. And I wish everybody can continually practice Dharma. So once you're practicing Dharma, you may get harmony yourself, happier and joyful. That brings to your family, and then brings to your friends. It will be slowly further down, then bring everybody slowly harmony and happiness and peaceful, and from the love and compassion, everybody bring you gathering. From the anger and jealousy, destroy everybody, makes further and further. So I wish everybody listen this and try to put some seeds into your heart and try to develop your hope. You don't need the suffering, and other people also doesn't need the suffering. Same way, human being, and you need the happy, joyful, and other people also need the happy and joyful. So I would like to wish you all the best, good health, long life, and peace in the world, harmony, and especially right now in Hong Kong. So how to say harmony in Hong Kong, and everybody get the long life, good health, successful. Hope their wishes come true. And thank you very much. Bye bye.